and welcome to the Hybrid Earth Alliance Club Room. If you're here with us live or listening to the replay, and wherever you are on this beautiful planet of ours, myself, Louise Benefield, and my co-hosts, Yahira and David, are very pleased to welcome you here into our bubble reality, where we again have the pleasure of hosting Linus Cordus, who channels a Sasani counterpart, who's a first contact specialist, who's coming forward at this accelerated time to share his perspectives, insights, and tools to aid us in navigating the hybrid realities. He also works closely with hybrid children. So, Linus, welcome. We had
Hi,
such a
everybody.
great we
Thank you so
had
much for
such
having me.
we had such a great time last week, and
Yeah,
it's
it
been
was very fun.
yeah we've had lots of fun getting to know Rohaan,
Mm.
and he shared lots of lovely, beautiful stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it's exciting now to see what he will share. I know he will, he has said that as we are now in this contact reality this year and the years to follow, he said that they will share a lot of things in terms also with the hybrid children and also other things that is related to contact. So in that way, it's very exciting to see.
Yeah, so I know that you've been setting up lots of other things since then. You know, you've done your Facebook group, you're starting the Patreon,
Yeah,
you're offering one-on-one sessions, which is
yeah,
great.
yeah,
So
exactly.
we'll post all that information in the chat
Yeah,
box, which is like your email and your links to the Facebook pages. So if you'd like
exactly.
to add anything to that.
Mm. Well, a little bit in the Patreon there will be, different kinds of, if people want to join there, there is I will have some classes there when I will be sharing Rohan. It will be a physics class with physics, quantum physics, and so on. And then there will be a first contact masterclass that he will be doing and help people to be ready for contact faster. So yeah, if people are interested in that too, they can join there. Yeah.
Yes, the quantum physics sounds really interesting. I'll
Yeah.
definitely be doing that.
Okay. Well, I guess I will bring Rohan through and see what he will share about this game, the hide and seek game that as he has
Okay, so we'll
provided.
let you get into the channeling
Yeah.
state, and then if there's anyone who would like to ask a question directly, then all you need to do is put your hand up, and somebody will let you into the room, and then you can ask your question. And if everything's okay, then we'll just put you back into the listener. And if not, then you can ask a follow-on question if you need any clarification. So we'll let you go on with that. Okay.
Yeah. See you. Oh, hello to you all, and welcome to this vibration that we're sharing with you all in this way. How are you all feeling in this reality?
We're all great, thanks, Rohan, and greetings from our hearts to your hearts, and all of our beautiful hybrid children, and all beings who are connected to the hybrid reality and who are connecting in with us now. We radiate our unconditional love and the knowingness that through these connections we are strengthening and solidifying the bridge to our hybrid realities. We honour and celebrate this connection and invite you into our hearts.
All right. I personally thank you all for sharing that speech in this way, and also that you are mentioning with no conditions, unconditionally. So we thank you for putting that into your spelling. In this way of sharing with you all this way, as we have referred to in this interaction, the game zone, hide and seek. Before we go into the game of hide and seek, we will first explain to you all the purpose with this. The game zone are a zone where we will be sharing a lot of games that you can play with in your reality. There will be games that you are familiar with and games that you are not. So have that in mind, how you also will go through this journey of games. One thing more to have in mind, as you may be wondering, why to play a game? Why to play many games? What purpose does that make? Well, first of all, to understand, as the hybrid children, they love to play game. They love to have fun in their reality. And they are themselves in their inner child. You have that also within yourself, the inner child. And if you allow yourself to be in that state of vibration, in that inner child vibration, you will perceive more of them. And the game zone will allow you to tap into that vibration, that particular pitch of music. So, now to hide and seek. As you are now perceiving hide and seek, something that you're seeking that is hidden. So what you can do on your own, play this with yourself. It's very important that you do that, to not be distracted by someone else except yourself. And play this game of hide and seek in your home or whatever you feel to do so. It's in that way is up to you. Because everything in that way is up to you. Because you are the greater being, up to you in that way. So, you will do this in a physical way. You can sit down and you close your eyes. And you're going to count to 33. Because 3, 3, 3 in that way, but to make it shorter for you in the way to not count up to 333, which will be where in that way maybe tiring for you to do. So we then made you a service to only to 33. The reason why to 33, because 33, or in that way 333, is actually, if you will, the call number to the hybrid children. And it's also in that way the amount of children that will come to begin with. 333. So, if you thus count up to 33, you will be operating on that vibration. You make yourself a service in that way to be able to perceive what is within 33. And as you then have count up to 33, then you open your eyes and go around your house and have this intentionally in yourself that you are looking for hybrid children, without any expectations in whatever form they might show themselves. I'm not saying that they will show themselves, first of all, in a physical form. They can come in many forms, in many signs within you, not only outside that way. So be neutral in yourself, how you are going to perceive them. Now you have the seeking mode on, which will allow you to seek their vibration. You have opened up the door with the number 33. Now you can seek within 33 and see what you will find. So also in this way, it's very important that you're following your intuition in yourself. If you feel that, oh, I want to look behind that door, then you do that. And see if nothing pops up behind the door, see where it will guide you next, and next, and next, and next, and next, and next, and next. And have fun with this. Even if you want to, you can even put this a little bit more fun away, that you imagining that you are perceiving them even if you do not. That they are hiding physical in your room. So put that also on yourself to have even more fun in that way, because then you will tap more even deeply into that vibration. So in that way, what you can do more, as also you go to sleep with this, after you have played this and if you go to sleep, be also aware in your dream state that you might have memories of playing this, and actually full memories of your hybrid children in your dream state reality. Because that game will follow you, not only as you play it. You will be more aware when you play the game, but the game will, in a sense, follow you in the way, or if you will put it into a more fun way, haunt you in that way, in a fun way. And also, if you feel some signs, act on the things that comes to you in that way, because they are also in that way communicating with you in that way. So be open, be intuitive, and have fun with that. And if you want to utilize this game outside too in a forest, by all means, have fun with that too, without any expectations in your reality. It is very important that you are being yourself and allowing to be your inner child, because in that way you will perceive what is you in that way. Not to be childish, but to be yourself as fully as you possibly can be within yourself. Because even if you see something outside of yourself in an external way, it is still within you. So if you play this, things will unfold in your reality outside, as you say. We thank you for allowing us to share this game with you in this funny way. Also, as the hybrid children are very overjoyed that we have shared this game with you, and they are looking forward to see what you will do with this.
Wow, Rohan. I'm sitting here like half laughing, half. I mean, I had a conversation with Linus before, and I said since last week, I've just like it's just been unfolding all week, and in fact, as soon as you reminded me of the 333, I was like, I've already had 333s, and it didn't click straight away. So thank you for that clarification.
Now it finally clicked within you, and also eventually in all of you, they are tuning into this vibration of 3-3.
Yes, of course. So as soon as we start counting, then do the hybrid children lock into that 33? They will know that we're doing that and be part of it.
Yes, because also remember in this way, the hybrid children that you are playing with is your own hybrid children, which simply means that they are in you, in your reality. Even if you don't perceive them right now, they are still within you, within your DNA structure. Remember, your DNA is energy, it's consciousness itself. That's the DNA itself. So before you continue in this way, we would like to share more about the DNA, because you know that you have shared your DNA in order to create the hybrids, and in that way we are part of that hybridization program, if you want to look at it in that way. And you have, on the higher level, agreed to share your DNA to the beings you refer to as the Greys. But what you don't understand when it comes to this is that you did not only share what you refer to as your physical DNA, or in the way in your science see the DNA to be, you agree to share the whole you, your whole self, not the DNA that you refer to be. The DNA is the whole you that you are. So you shared your whole self to the hybrid children that you are creating in this way. That's why they're not in a way taking you against your free will, as many people have perceived it to be. You have fully agreed to share the whole you in this co-creation with them. So think about that.
Yes, of course, that makes complete sense, because then anything that we're doing, they can be part of.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you for that. That's a great little add-on bit, definitely for me.
Or in the way they are a whole in the way of yourself,
yes,
not a part of that, a whole
the whole.
expression of you in that way.
Wow, that's beautiful. So, if we're ready to start asking questions, if David and Yohai would like to take some questions from the chat.
Yeah, we can start with that, I guess. But Louise, could you make me admin for the meeting for the room, because I'm not at the moment.
Yes,
Oh,
over
okay, I'll
here
see if I
too.
can do that.
Ahmad.
Oh,
Okay.
please can you make me admin as well?
Sure.
We're
I would
all
like also to
admins.
construct that in the way that I prefer myself to. Oh, I was kidding.
I'm not quite sure if I could do it now, David.
It's all right. Then we'll just go through the chat, and then you can sort the people then.
Okay.
We can take a question from, we have quite a few questions here. Momita has a number of questions. I'll just take one that I think is relevant here. She asks, what does existing in other dimensions mean? Does it mean our parallel selves, or a part of us in other dimensions like the higher self? Can you clarify?
Well, in that way, you can say it's also different in that expression part of yourself in the way, but also understand in that experience of you existing in our dimension is you, and also different aspect of the higher mind, not the same higher mind that you are experiencing yourself in this reality of dimension to be. Because in other dimension, there are also in the way different higher mind to yourself, different incarnations in those realities with different kinds of theme, if you want to put it in that way, and different kinds of geometry, understanding of themselves in the reality, how they perceive themselves to be. Also understand the point of you all existent in our dimension, because you do it in multiple of levels in ways that is even beyond what you can imagine. But it's still you in that way. But from this perspective, in this reality of the dimension that you are seeing yourself now to be, you chose to perceive this as a fraction of the bigger you with the branches out into other dimensions, realities. That is what we will share about that at this particular time.
Thank you. That was very
Before you
helpful.
continue in that way too, if you want to understand really how this works, you can look into and play with geometry, because in that way, lives, incarnations in the way are simply being utilized in geometry patterns that has then put forms into different kinds of physicality or even non-physicality. The more you go up in dimensions, higher dimension, where there is non-physicality, you will see that also the form and shapes within those dimensions are pure geometry patterns, not in the way as you see yourself now to be as a humanoid physical being in your reality. It will be expressed in that way as geometry, more in the way in the pattern of geometry. It is actually informational vibration network within the geometry patterns. Please continue.
I'm gonna bring up James to the stage. He's gonna ask something.
Do you have a stage here?
Mhm.
Don't have stage fright. Be yourselves.
James, if you can accept the invite. There you go. You can ask him.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
What
hello.
would you like to ask?
This is my first Clubhouse session, so I'm very excited. Nice to meet you, Rohan, and everyone else
Nice
too.
to interact with you in this way as well.
So I just did before this session, I did a 10-minute automatic writing just on my phone, on my notes, and I just wanted to read it out and just see if you have any thoughts.
Well, you were in that state where you actually in this way were able to be more of yourself, to look in this in a linear time way, as you were doing it before this interaction. You were allowing in this way to perceive yourself from a higher perspective, in a more neutral state within yourself, of being pure in yourself, to feel and be able to in now in this way to our vibration in a much more profound way. And this
Yes.
automatic writing process was for you in a way to utilize different kinds of energy from you that you were able to channel out through you in this way, to be more, to clear some space, to even to be able to interact in this way, to bring through in this way from us to you more kind of information to you in that way that will make sense to you more and more and more. If you want to play around with more of this automatic writing, you will see also things will come out you through in that way that will make sense, and you will see a pattern of how you will expand yourself in your reality,
Awesome. Sounds
because
good.
you
May I
actually
read
also
the poem?
writing your life story in the way you prefer to do.
Mm-hmm. May I read the poem that I wrote, or the writing that I wrote? It will only take about 20 to 30 seconds.
Sure, that's just in a way up to you.
Okay, so this is a tale of the childhood of no end, in a unity of time and necessity, in a period called unaging time, when nothing existed and nothing grew old, birthed the air, the void, and the darkness. After eons and at last, the egg was formed. When it hatched, the two shells became heaven and earth. And out came the firstborn, light love, the first supreme ruler of the heaven of heavens, fathering the earth and heavens, and the creator of the golden age of man. Now his story unfolds in the present time, and may the good games continue for the rest of our time.
All right, we thank you for sharing this. If you want to have a perspective upon this, you are in the way referring to the existence itself. You are expressing your existence in that writing.
Yes.
If you want to look at it in a linear way of seeing that way, from in a way beginning from now into end, even though there is no end in that way, but that is how it came out through your writing. And you
Mm-hmm.
actually were able to elaborate yourself in that writing process to see and feel more of the existence that you are in creation. So thank you for writing that story.
Thank you. I just have one more question, just a short question. In my creation story, how is Sophia involved in all of this? Wisdom.
In whatever form it needs to be in the moment that you are creating within yourself. Because remember, it can be whatever form and way to be meant to you in that way, in terms what you need to have an experience in each reality versions of yourself.
Okay.
It's just in a way a messenger to you in that way, of a guidance to you in that way, as more as a feminine expression of yourself, in a way, if that story is providing more information to you about yourself in your existence.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's take one more chat question, and then we can go to a direct speaker. So Elias asks, can Rohan share information about the Pleiadians? Because according to Bashar, the Pleiadians will most likely be the first we meet.
In terms of that, in the way, yes, they will most likely be the first one that you will meet in terms of extraterrestrials, as an open contact way. Speaking of individuals, they can meet also other extraterrestrial beings before, but Pleiades will be one of the first one in terms of extraterrestrial contact. It depends also overall as yourself as an individual are behaving in your reality, in which reality you are operating on in that way. But yes, the Pleiades in that way will also this year make themselves a little bit more known to you in this way. In a way for helping in that way to sharing the kinds of information that will help you to be able to tune into them in another way.
Great, thank you for that, Rohan. So let's take one from the audience. I see Layla's now in. So Layla, go ahead and ask your question. Unmute yourself, of course.
Is it my turn to ask a question?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Greetings, Rohan. I'm very happy to have this opportunity.
Yes, well, I also know that you also habitually are involved in this conversation too in this way, and they're happy to be involved, yes.
Uh, um, I have a question related to the double star tetrahedron.
All right, yes.
I'm feeling very drawn to this geometry structure. I've been building it with magnets and try to really get a sense, a feel of the geometry. But I have a question related to once we are more easily able to picture with our mind eye this structure, where does it take us? How can we make the most of this geometry to experience our multidimensional self? How can we make the most of this visualization when we are picturing ourselves in the structure?
Yeah, please also remember that to be able to do that, you need to be able to express yourself as fully as you can, because yourself contain, if you will, geometry patterns. And when you're seeing external geometry pattern as referring to as this theta hidden in that way, if you're not really in match with yourself, you will not be able in the way to be able to tap into the aspects of it. So in that way, it's very important that you are also be able to be yourself, to you can expand your own vibrational pattern into your reality, and that will reflect back to you in this higher metaphysical way of geometry, in that way, more of the energy of the vibration of all the geometry patterns in your reality, and feel more that you are in tune to that. So by utilizing that are hidden in that way is to fully to go within yourself, to look within, to finding also in the way who you are, and then you will see a deeper way, a more profound way, when you also are involving yourself in tetrahedron. Because remember, all things outside need, in order to stimulate that again, as I said, needs first to have the stimulation inside from yourself first. Does that make sense for you?
Yes, it confirms.
And the no part is what?
What I mean is, it totally makes sense, but I still have. I can. I guess I still would be willing to receive instruction or how to, when I'm in a state of meditation, to go deeper.
But why do you expect it to be in a certain way?
I guess I want. I guess I have the expectation that the experience will bring me in a different state. So I
Why?
guess I
Why do you
can.
expect it to bring you something in that way? I'm not
I
saying that it won't bring you, but why do you expect it to be so? What is that you are want it to do for you?
maybe I'm resisting where I'm at.
Yes, that's why you also expect it to be something, and that's why you, in a way, are resisting in terms of how this will be utilized for you in this way. So if you can do this without any expectation, then you will be able to tap more deeply into the aspect of that vibration. If you go there with expectation, you are blocking the view. So don't expect what will happen, what it will bring you in this way. Just be your pure self in that particular state. And then you will see that it will bring to you what you need in that way. Because we understand that you on your planet like to expect things when you do something. Oh, I want it to be like this if I do this, and so on and so on. And that is all fine. But also, if you want to perceive more what it contains, so to speak, you need to be in pure core balance with yourself without expect it to be something in that way. Because when you expect something, you also insist in a way, because you humans have that kind of a choice to insist while as you are expecting something. Does it make sense? So just be neutral and play with that and see what happens.
Thank you
Okay?
so much. It really it makes a lot of sense for me, and I
Yes.
think that by just
I'll
being
tell you
honest
one
to
thing more
myself.
too. This also looks. explains things to you in the way. When we created our spaceship in more a physical way, as you understand a spaceship to be in that way, only reason it could be so was not in the way that we put resistance on the energy, because remember, it's an energy field to begin with, and then later on it crystallized into a spaceship form. So even though if we wanted to be a spaceship, we all at the same time needed to drop the expectation how it will grow, because that will block ourself, our higher mind, that will be able to be translated through the spaceship. So that applies for everything when it comes to energies like that. Make sense?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Who is next up to
Thank
stage?
you very much, Leila.
Thank you for sharing.
Let's take, I believe Michael had a question. Michael, if you could accept the invite and ask your question.
Accept the invitation, please.
Here, let's try now.
Knock, knock.
Michael,
Should
otherwise
we just do another
I'll do another chat question.
chat and then we'll just get him in and
Okay,
I think, yeah.
that's fine. Mark asks, how much do our beliefs and intentions overpower physical effects? So if I, for example, smoke cigarettes in a positive state with a positive intention, does that counteract the negative physical effects of smoking cigarettes?
No. Here is a great example of how that works. As you know that you create the meaning in your life with your belief systems, and there is nothing really out there that has built-in meaning per se, the circumstance in of itself are neutral in that way. Even if you are doing something that people might define as negatively, but that because they have put in that definition up within that. So if you intentionally have belief system, say, for example, smoking cigarettes, and you do that with a positive intention, and do not have a belief that it will cause a negative effect upon you. What will happen then is that you can only perceive what you have put in the circumstance, because you create the circumstance in your reality. So if you create that to be that case, you will get the reflection back, what you are creating within the circumstance. But have in mind that it can be easily that filtered through the collective belief systems upon how people in your reality perceive it to be. So in that way, you need to be honest. If you are defining that to be so from a positive standpoint of view, or if that you do that because you are in a way running away from the negative effect that you know somehow it can cause you. So that's why you need to be pure and honest within yourself. And that will take practice, because you have to be able to tune in to different kinds of aspects within yourself about that. But yes, that's why also it's very important that people can be a smoker for many, many years and be very healthy, because they didn't have any negative belief system and create a negative circumstance within them. So it's again up to you how you create your reality to be. But you need to be honest with yourself and with the things, as to say, outside how you are defining the outside to be.
Thank you for that answer. So I see we have another speaker, Louise. You're going to introduce them?
Oh, I've just seen
Oh,
Louise,
Oh,
Luis?
you've got a
yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Would you like to unmute yourself? Oh, no. Is there
Oh,
anybody
he's
else we're
coming up
trying
back.
to
He's
get?
just new with Clubhouse.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
coming back. Okay, if you'd like to unmute yourself
A
to ask your
bunch of
question.
muters.
If you can press the unmute button on the bottom right,
The
you'll
mic on
see
the
it.
bottom.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My question is a little different one than the conversation. So I've been drinking ayahuasca for a few years, and then 6 months ago I have a rough experience. So um, I just want to know. I want to see if you can answer something about what is teaching me to have that bad experience that I have. Before I had so many experiences, and it was everything good. I have a lot of people and everything, but this time it was so different and rough.
All right. What you're experiencing, as you said, the first it was positively, and then it turns out to be negatively. Because also understand how you are defining that to be, in what state of being you are in when you are utilizing that substance. In the beginning, you had more of a positive mindset in a way that didn't cause any anxiety, how you would use that in your reality, and throughout the process of this you are creating within yourself, more deeply within yourself, in more in your unconscious, subconscious mind, more of a negative anxiety way of utilizing that substance, and hence their effect, if you will, of being in a more negatively towards you. Because remember, if you do things like that as ayahuasca or other things similar to that, if you are doing that in, let's say, to use your term, in a wrong state of mind, you will actually perceive that experience. It reflects to you what you need to know about yourself. So look upon yourself, how you are, in what state of being that you are in, and what belief systems you are having when you are performing that substance in yourself. Does that make
Okay.
sense for you in this
Yeah.
way?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Louis. Right. So did we manage to get Michael back in, or
I think James had another
no?
question.
Well, let James ask another question. So James, if you can accept. Thanks.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes.
So I have two questions. Is that okay? Just two short questions.
Sure.
So my first question is it possible to channel entities such as death and time?
What do you refer to as death in your way of understanding death to be?
For example, can you channel it, can you reflect it off someone so you are making them channel death personified, so a lady. So this is
Do
just my personal.
you mean deceased people that has passed on, as you say, or death
So
in of
death
itself?
as a personification. If
Well,
death had a personification, is that
death
possible to
in that
channel?
way are not in the way that you think death to be, because death, it's not really in the way that you understand in your language to be. Death is something you have put up in yourself, in your language. So in that way, death is part of life in that way. So if you would channel death in the way, you would channel life, positive light energy in the way, because death is created within yourself in the light. So in that way, it will not be death in that way you are understanding it to be. It will simply be projected as death in your language. But the energy, the vibration within that is life and light. Does that make sense? Because there's no real death in of itself that you can
Yes.
channel in that way. Because death, as I said, is something you have put a label in your language yourself it to be.
So, in other words, another name for death is life.
Yes, because the reason why you have this death in that way, because you see that something begin and something end in your culture. And you feel that death is an end in that way, but that is an illusion because what they didn't understand, why they define death, because they didn't understand what happens after when you are going into spirit, so to speak, or death, if you will.
Okay,
So
thank you so
that's
much.
the reason why the life is in death, because life continues in that state. It's just another form of continuation.
And so this being death or life, does it have other names too, like other synonyms?
Yes, in the way, in different kinds of civilization, you had different kinds of synonyms. Yes.
And so I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but what are some other names, for example, for this being called death or life?
Well, in that way, it cannot be translated through the channel's brain because those kinds of language do not exist in your culture. In this way, it cannot
Interesting.
be, in a sense, be interpreted in that way. But
Okay.
to give you kind of an understanding in the way, they can be simply in the way different kinds of numerological definitions upon that too.
Okay. So my second question, I know I asked 3 already, but my second question is, what is your perspective on the second coming of Christ and how will we know that he has arrived?
It again depends in the reality that you are experienced the Christ perspective to be, because Christ, if that was your use, are simply the in of itself the energy in the way, but as it will come, as you experience time to be, as something will evolve again, it's just an illusion of that in a way coming, as you say, because in the way Christ has always been and always will be in the form it has always been. You just experiencing different kinds of in your space and time that it's evolved in a way where it comes again into your experience.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Not really. Could you maybe reword that? I didn't quite understand that.
Well, you said that the Christ is coming. You say Christ or a crisis?
Christ, like
Christ.
as
Yes,
in Jesus.
yes.
The
But
second
you
coming of
have to
Jesus.
understand that way that Christ can be, let's say, be reflected in many ways in your reality. In the Jesus Christ time, if you look upon that way, it was being expressed through that individual in that way. Now it's being expressed differently in your reality as you see it to be. It's still the same energy vibration that you have always been. He was just able back then to utilizing that particular vibration in the reality. But this has always been that way, depending on how you can, let's say, bring that energy about.
Okay. Can I just ask one more short question?
We will appreciate if you continue with your other question at this time, due to that this transmission will soon come to as death, if you will. And I was kidding. But please proceed with other question at this time.
Okay, so my other question, it's related to the second coming.
Oh,
So in
we will thank.
theosophy and
Would you please continue with other person's question in this way, due to that
yes,
we are short on time,
yes,
to
I
allow
will
other
leave.
people to be able to also ask their questions too in this way.
Yes, please remove me from the
Okay,
stage.
thank you very much, James. So, Gukhan, you're You're free to ask your question now. I think you wrote it in chat, but maybe you want to ask it directly yourself. Maybe you could unmute.
Hello, hello, Rohan.
Are you
Hello,
curious?
Luis,
Are you
William,
curious
Aya,
about
and
the
Alvin.
observer?
Yes,
All right.
I would like to know. I would like to know the entity named the Observer. Are you familiar with his name?
Well, in not really a name in the way sense, but the label of observer in that way. It depends because when it comes to different kinds of observations in the way as many beings can choose to observe reality. Because in that way is, let's say, before, this is also how it comes before a context scenario taking place. It becomes in this way as an observer that first observe a particular civilization or observe different kinds of realities in that civilization in whatever form it needs to be, but without any kind of, shall we say, interference into the reality and download information. So in a way it can make more sense how the conflict can unfold throughout the time.
Yes, thank you for the answer, but I am more specifically asking about another channeler named Bashar, and he once connected to the entity called uh, the Observer in 1997, one of the sessions, to confirm the validity of uh, a piece of work written by the author Neil Donald Walsh called Conversations with God. I would like to have a little more information about that entity,
There is nothing more
if you have any
precisely
knowledge.
I can share about the entity in that way, because in that way it's not really in the way meant to be at this time. This will come through as you we establish more in the first contact council. Then it will be more about that, because the observer in that way are involved in that scenario.
All right, thank you, Rohan.
Yes.
That is all I wanted to ask.
Thank you very much, Gurkhan.
Thank you very much.
I think we have a question in the chat now. Michael couldn't get in to present it himself, but he's written part of it. So he says, I have a gift that I can recognize people who are going to be important in my life way sooner than them. At the moment when I have the insights, they can be completely not interested in getting to know me, not spiritual at all, basically not ready. I don't know how to use that information to my advantage. It brings in a lot of challenges on my side because I get excited, but then I see that they are not excited yet. I am afraid that if I tell them what I know, it will only push them away and cause more resistance. I would like to honor their free will and develop a relationship with them because they want if it makes sense. How could I use this gift to my advantage, please?
Well, first of all, is to understand that even though the people in your reality is still different versions of yourself, and you have it in the way to honoring them as you will honor yourself, and in a sense, do not in a way expect that they need to perceive that particular information you are sharing in whatever way you in a way expect it to be. You have to allow them to perceive that information and play with the information however they so wish. And if you're doing that, you will see also that you will experience versions of them that will be more in alignment with the information that you are sharing. But you're experiencing the resistance because you're experiencing that expectations upon how they will perceive what you're referring to as the gift in that way. And then it in the way reflects back to you that they are actually in a separation way from you in that way. So you have to be honest in this, with yourself, as you will, as someone will do that to you. If you will allow someone else to give you the free will of choice if however you choose to ground that information and to do with that particular information in that way. But, and again, to understand once for all that it's simply other versions of yourself. And if you understand that, it will make more sense in terms of the consequences of what is happening.
Great, thank you, Rohan. Louise or Yahara, did you have some questions you wanted to ask at all?
I have some questions. I'm just going to ask Rohan how long he would still like to go on for.
In terms of timing, couple of minutes more.
Okay. I could just ask a question about the hybrid children, because since our last session, I've just having lots of synchronicities and lots of questions come up. I'd like to know how the multi-dimensional spaces within the ships where the hybrid children stay, if they've changed, and if there's any correlation between us shifting and their new expansive perspective that they might have.
Yes, well, the more you also are progressing in your own shifting progress way, they're also progressing themselves in their way too. So from their perspective, it needs to match up in whatever you have shifted in yourself to a particular quantum level of energies. So in that way, it has to be some kind of a match in terms of that.
So that's also an aspect of us merging our realities together as well.
Yes,
The closer we
because it's
come.
just about emerging in that way. Of course, you do it in your way and they're doing that in their way, but still you are working together in terms of your higher aspects of yourself, your own higher aspects, and their own higher aspects. So what is happening in terms of that is that from that point, you're creating different kinds of reflections outwards in an electromagnetic way. And in that energy, you are crystallizing yourselves with them in an energetic way and creating within that energy a particular sphere with using different kind of particles and also using within that dark gravity to be able to having a physical in a more tangible way in your reality. So you're creating the puzzle together, so to speak.
Wow, that's very exciting. I did think it was like that. And I
It is.
suppose just knowing those things, then we can ground those things within our knowing. And, that's just another way that we're locking into our, shared reality.
Yes, yes.
Lovely. Well,
Hi, Rohan. Can
Hello
you
to you,
share?
my
Can you
friend.
share about rainbow children?
Well, again, it depends. Again, it's same as in the indigo shilling in the way that has different kinds of, shall we say, momentum of expressing themselves in their beingness in the way. Because the rainbow, if you look into that way more specifically and more precisely, it is simply that within the color of the vibration, as they have also within themselves those particular vibrations, if you're in terms of that, they will be able to express that kind of informational electromagnetic energy in themselves into the reality. And having the knowledge that are embedded within that those colorization.
What does that represent in terms of being physical or actions or just being here on Earth?
it in that way represents the kinds of aspects how they can present themselves in different kinds of forms in themselves, with different kinds of energy that can help people that are in need for different kinds of guidance, if you will, and to be able to express that kind of vibration of into different kinds of realities within your own earth, so to speak, then people that need to have that experience will be able to have that experience in themselves in terms of it being health-wise or used to have that energy experience. So in that way, they are coming as guiders, if you will, to put it in that way.
Beautiful. Yes, that's what I felt like energetically
But
there.
also remember, if you will have a technology that could actually tune in when you see a rainbow, a full rainbow, a physical rainbow in your reality, not that they are physical in that way, a rainbow, but in the way you understand it to be. When you see a rainbow on your planet, if you will have a technology that can be able to, let's say, tune in and create a particular representation of what each pattern means within that way, you will have a lot of things, and you can say music, if you will, and then you can put that music and play it out because that frequency will be in a music note, if you will, and that device, if you will have the technology device, it will be able to play it out. But it's the same way as that's why they are walking in sense in your self reality, because they're doing the same thing, playing out the music. They are the device themselves in that particular human perspective.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, we will thank you all for your great questions that you had in your reality. We thank you all for this interaction and this co-creation of blending different kinds of energies together and to make it explode into a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful colorization of our reality together.
Oh, that's beautiful, Rohan. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rohan.
And next time, if you so prefer to have this next time, it will still be the game zone, and that will be the game zone and be something to create about your own ship, which will be called the mind ship.
Wow, that sounds great.
Because this will
I'm
help you once again to make this more tangible in this way, because as they are also operating in spaceships, if you want to more have a common ground in terms of space in that way, if you create your own mind ship in this way, it will in that sense help to be more on common ground, as they are from their side getting used to Earth environment. You can meet them halfway by being in your own spaceships in that way. So we thank you and see what to do with this in your reality.
Yes, it'd be interesting if we all, well, if we feel that we'd like to do the hide and seek, I'm definitely going to be doing it because it sounds really interesting, and I think I've been doing it already. So just doing that all the time, yeah, that'd be very interesting. Thank you so much, Rohan, for sharing that with us.
You are also welcome in this way. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hello, everybody. I am back from the sleep state.
Welcome
Welcome
back.
back.
Welcome back.
Oh my God, that was
How did
so
it go?
good.
How did it go?
That was so good.
That was amazing.
Oh, oh,
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it was great. Yeah,
the hide and seek permission slip game. Oh my God, it's good, and
that's great.
it's good because the children are going to be connected with it. So I think they're going to be playing it at the same time as we are in a holographic setting.
Yeah, and that's yeah, it's like this co-creation, so to speak, that they are doing
Yeah.
that from their side and the blending in that way that taking place. Yeah, and I think also as I don't remember what is said about that, but no, not remember. But it was something that it's within the game that we will be more on common ground. I think it said. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yes, that the game will follow us. So yeah, like we're the game and we're playing the game. That's just my feeling. I just got got from it now, but yeah, I'm feeling that's. I think you can just play that anyway. You can either play it when you get in your car. Who's in the car first, or what things? Because if you've had children, you know that they leave you little presents and little things that have hidden places.
Yeah, yeah,
so so I
they do.
think,
Yeah,
yeah, so that would be good, just because he did say to, if you're not finding anything, to like make it up. So that's part of using your intuition within the game in a fun way.
yeah.
I would like to add something just for in general for the audience. When something that I learned from experience working with channelers, it's very good to be concise with your question, like go directly to what you want to ask. Don't go around the bushes, and then listen, because that space, give them the space. Your answer is going to be there, but trying to like create more questions, like it's being in your mind, doesn't allow that space for it to be unfold. So just silences plays a key role in just allowing the answer to come through. So just putting that out.
Exactly. That's also very important that when it comes to channeling overall and whatever that comes through, and even if some throughout my experience as being a channel now for over 6 years, there are of course that the channeling or the entity or whatever that's coming through, whatever people are channeling, it will be a reflection also of our own environment, and that means that it something is maybe not come through and it may not really make sense that way, but then maybe when you listen to it again, oh, that makes sense, because it depends also where we are in ourselves when we are listening and when they are talking, and so it's that way it's very important how we are when the information comes through, similar to what you were talking about also, Yaira.
Yes, I've went back to listen to old, right, videos of my channeling sessions, and the answer was there, but I was not in a space to receive it. But at least I allowed it to come, even though I was not getting it. And then 1 year, 2 years later, that information is serving me. So it's very
Yeah,
good to just be
exactly.
silent and allow the channeler to just unfold the way it's going, without our
Yeah,
mind trying to get what it needs to think it needs to get in the moment.
exactly. And that's why also as a channeler too, it's very that way. If someone wants to be a channeler, it's in that way it's very important that when you're channeling, if you do it vocally the way that I do, is to really also step aside and really let the energy come through and let it speak. Let it speak through you in the way it needs to, and so for that's why I'm not gonna put any negative on this, but I've seen also throughout different kinds of channelers that where you can see maybe that there's more of themselves in the way. Like for example, I can give an example just to talk a little bit about the channeling for a moment. I'd like to give this example about the Santa Claus. For example, if, let's say, I do not believe in Santa Claus, and then if I'm channeling, and then the entity says through me that the Santa Claus is real, and that information will also be filtered through me. So if am in the way, and then it would be resistance within the information, because I do not believe in Santa Claus, as an example, and to say, well, I believe in Santa Claus, or Santa Claus is real, it will, be like a smash, I will say, with energy. So that's why it's very good to clear the vessel, really, the vessel that ourselves, to really bring through the energy, how it needs to be.
Yes, I'd just like to add something to that as well. I definitely agree, Yahira, what you're saying, and also it is an experience for the person asking the question in that way. That is the whole experience, because I remember years ago asking questions as well, and if you're not in the moment, you're either thinking about your next question, or you're not actually present either. So it is also a great experience to actually do that. And yeah, I think when you understand it, then you just relax and allow and open to receive.
Yeah, I also want to touch on something too, that a lot of people have asked me this before, and now we're having this call here. I can also explain about this, that when people are channeling, and I know people like to say they are, but these channeler sons were similar to this channeler, and they are very similar in the energies. And for example, like if people compare Bashar and someone else, and this sounds so similar, or the channeler is somehow imitating that, whatever. But the thing is that, as if when we learn something, as if you're being a channeler and you want to do that, it's only what matters is the state, about the channel state. And if you have like say a teacher, and you will of course have that experience from the teacher. If you go to a channel teacher, and the channeler teach you how to channel, and it provides that channeling state to you in that like teaching way, that's why you do the same way when you do your own channeling, is that you are going into the same state to be able to bring through the information. So it's not in a way that people are copying in that way. They're just in a way doing what they have been taught in that way of be in the challenge state, because that is what is important, is to be in the challenge state and to be able to bring through the information. And so yeah, I just want to say that, because a lot of people ask me that, well, it sounds similar to this and that, so why is that so? Isn't that because they are different? Well, they are different beings, but the channeler are providing that information in the channel state.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, so a lot of people, they want to say, but he's want to be more this, he sounds similar to Bashar, he must, it cannot be real, yeah, because people may have listened to a lot of Daryl and Bashar, and that's what they have learned to channel from. So they will do the same to bring through their own information in that way. So it's not about that in a negative way people might think.
Yes, of course, it's if people understand that it's like a melding of the two energies, you're actually creating a third entity, and so it's like a merging of higher selves, isn't it? So yeah, and going into the channeling state, if you've done channeling courses, you know that you're actually connecting with your higher self, and then your higher self can connect to other, other parts of you.
Exactly.
So yeah, and doing that, and I think what a lot of channelers and intuitive people are bringing through is really what we all channel anyway all the time, because that's how we create our reality. And so we're just like fine tuning the the resistance that we put in from changing our beliefs to something that's more preferred. So we're always getting the information. It's just parts of ourselves, our ego and our core beliefs, that actually changes the information. So what we're doing at the moment is we're fine tuning all our inheritively things that we already have. We can do all these things. We're just like relearning how to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yes, it's very exciting, and that's why we probably find it very exciting, because it is part of our journey, finding out about who we really are. And it's just like when things keep opening up all the time, it is exciting. So
It is. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's
very
lovely to
exciting.
be part. It's lovely to be part of this.
There's
Yeah.
something else I've discovered through my own experience. When I'm open, like when my heart is open and I'm speaking from it, right, with the channeler, I get the answers precisely, directly. When I am trying to hide something subconsciously, I've seen myself, because I feel the fear of being judged or whatever thing that I have unresolved, and it's coming through the question. I don't get what I was going, like if I would have done it from the heart. And I noticed this once, that I was just so depressed, and I asked a channeler, right, a question, but I camouflaged it because I didn't want to, quote unquote, come out with my low vibration. And a friend of mine told me, you should have just been honest. And that's why I didn't get the answer. Like, I didn't get that nutritionist energy, because I was hiding from myself, basically. So it's very important to just speak from your heart.
Exactly. Yeah. Agree.
So another beautiful session, and sounds like we're having another one.
Indeed.
Yeah. He's doing all this this game, all these games. It's very exciting
Yeah.
to be a conduit in this way, that when he brings through
Well, that's
these topics.
it. It's like the momentum's going, and to be part of something like this live is so important, because just feeling the vibration, and like you're really in it, you're immersed in it. And immersion in something that excites you, it is part of taking your excitement as far as you can, with no insistence. And that, and feeling that and knowing that, then you can apply that into other aspects of your life. And yeah, I would definitely always, I mean, I've done lots of courses with channelers and been on loads of lives, and it's definitely the thing to do if that's your highest excitement, and you're wanting to sort of play with more ideas. So it's lovely. Thank you very much again,
Oh,
Linus.
thank you all. Thank you for having me here again. It was very fun.
Thanks for a great session. It was wonderful.
Thank you, Linus. It's a pleasure to be
Thank you
meeting
all.
you in this space. Yeah.
So yes, this will be recorded, this replay, and also I did suggest to Linus to put his PayPal account on his bio. because I mean, I always like to have a an energy exchange with people. So if there's anybody who's feels inspired to make an energy exchange, I'm sure it'd be appreciated. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too.
Great. Okay, so we'll say goodbye.
Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye,
Thank you,
everybody.
Bye. Thanks
everybody.
everyone for
Much
coming.
Bye-bye.
love.
Thank you
Bye.
all. Bye-bye.
Bye.